Flipside draw first blood in the grand finals here at the DreamHack Open at Leipzig. And it's up to Big on home soil to prove us wrong. Train should, in theory, heavily favor Flipside, but we saw what Big had to offer yesterday in a, what was it, a quadruple overtime in the end.
It was definitely
quite
a
marathon.
Yeah, indeed it was. It was definitely crazy things. And again, we're going to have to see crazy stuff out of Big because it's going to be a tall task for them. Train is definitely a map that Flipside are going to be a bit more comfortable on. Haven't seen Big really play as much. And again, when they won yesterday, it completely relied upon big individual plays. Guys like Tabs and Ivy, guys like Kiev with the AWP. That was what was the heartbeat of Big, to be able to come back and beat out Vega Squadron. Meanwhile, you feel like Flipside have a bit more structure to rely on. They are going to have those tactics. They are going to have those defaults well worked out. And we have seen so far the players of Flipside that you expect to play well, play well. You have seen Waylander get his numbers. World Edit, Electronic, these guys are all firing on all cylinders. Meanwhile, you saw Kiev, a guy who was so instrumental on Train yesterday, was really quiet on Cash, and so they need to find a way to activate him more because he's definitely a big tool in their arsenal. And you're going to have to see guys like Next, like Tapson, really find their form as well. You know, this is going to be a grueling series for them now. I know that the hometown crowd wants to see them win. They want to see them hoist the trophy. They have to find a way to lock up Train to get it to a third map to see if they can do just that.
I think, again, you're looking at the same, you know, the usual suspects. You're looking at Next, you're looking at Kiev, to rinse and repeat from what they did last time. But for what could be the last time today, ladies and gents, if Flipside have their way, make some noise for the grand finals, as Big will be facing off against Flipside. God B is going to be using that CZ on the B site by himself once again. And definitely watch out for the aggressive plays up in box halls he did so many times yesterday. It did get him caught off guard a couple times, but
a lot of times, if we're honest. I mean, he had a real tough time until he started kind of fading back and playing a bit more conservative. So that's definitely one of the weak points that Big had yesterday to keep an eye on. But it won't matter much in the pistol round, you wouldn't think, as Flipside, though, are certainly looking to attack this area. He does have Kiev for support on the bomb train, so he's not alone. But what can Kiev do here?
Well, there we go. That's what he can do. 2 headshots delivered first class. And he may very well be able to get more. There's a third. Next will take the fourth away from him. He doesn't care. He's going to be going in for the fourth. Actually switches to a snipe. Narrowly misses on the right click. And honestly, as the AWPer, had he have landed that right click, that would have been huge towards the AWP fund. But hey, 3 one-taps, he'll take it every day.
Indeed. That'll certainly give him something to smile about and something for that horn blower to tune to.
Triggered.
So salty.
There's Kiev's 3 one-taps. Next narrowly took away the fourth. 4 UMPs, M4, and Flipside have gone in for the buy. Deagles in the hands of World Edit. And we've already seen time and time again in this event just what Will can do with a Deagle. All he needs is that small investment, and he can take a few players out of the equation.
Absolutely. Markolov looking to see if he can't find a pick here with his Deagle on Ivy. Does spot Legia, but Legia, though, says he's out. Headshot delivered, and so Big gonna have a quick 5-on-4. Kiev will add a little bit to it there, as the Waylanders also found death here in the inner bomb site. So Big doing all the right things to not lose to a force fight like this. Hold the phone, though. There's World Edit. He's woken up. That's one Deag shot in.
Oh, he wasn't far away from Tabson either. Electronic putting down God B. Actually playing in Pop Dog this time around, which is interesting. Very much the B player for Big. UMP has traded hands. Electronic has Kevlar. And Kiev has heard footsteps to his right-hand side. He knows someone is with him on the site. He's going to put down Electronic. Does take a lot of damage in the process. Maybe Blade can finish him off, but the chances of that happening are pretty slim, and make that none. Tabson gets him on the cross. So a good start by Big here on the second map. Just what they were looking for.
Certainly helps not to fall prey to a force buy. That was one of the biggest things that caught up to him on Cash, was losing those types of rounds. So being able to lock that one up, certainly an improvement for them. And this round should be much easier, right? I mean, there's only just Glocks in play, really just a couple of P250s. So this should be where Big takes care of the business, no problem. This round should be just immediate 3-0. And we'll see that opening gun round to see how the rest of this thing is going to play out.
Kiev going in with the UMP. Interestingly, God B hasn't gone for anything with his USP, so maybe he is in a position to drop an AWP for Kiev going through into the next round, depending on how things finish off here. God B instantly wrecked, and Kiev must know there's players behind him. He was hoping that the Well, box would keep him alive. That's not the case. The bomb is going to get planted and big. If you concede this, it is going to be an absolute catastrophe. Tabson and Nex are going to try and steer them away from the apocalypse in this round, and Big came back.
That was not the comfortable victory they were hoping for, though, and they also conceded a bomb plant, which, to be fair, an inner can sometimes be hard to avoid, but they definitely lost a lot more numbers than they were probably hoping for. As we'll see if Kiev can get the op out. He was huge for them on this map yesterday. Again, a bit quiet on Cash in this grand final, so we'll see if he can show you some of that fast opping speed that he's been so well known for throughout this event. But now we see Flipside with a full buy. Again, very slow, very methodical. They like to, make sure they get control of inner halls, move roll at its top round to look for picks, and just take things slow and just kind of work from that. That's going to be kind of what you'll see probably throughout this entire half, really. Kind of similar to Cash, just very comfortable opening they like to do. Wayland are able to cross through Key's op, get control of inner. In the meantime, though, it's just a holding pattern for Flipside. They're looking to catch some of this aggression. Electronic is going to be able to do just that. Gabi is going to be out of the equation this round.
And interesting enough, you're already seeing quite a big change between how Big came into the CT side against Vegas Squadron as opposed to Flipside as well. That it is going to get a kill alongside Electronic. Gabi was always playing B. He didn't go anywhere else, and so far we've seen him in 2 of the 3 rounds that have been played. 3 of the 4 rounds, pardon me, now. Actually on the A site, playing up close and personal.
And you can see they're trying to get Key's op involved. They're moving around. He played almost exclusively outer yesterday, so now they're actually trying to let him go in there and go into inner, see if he can't find early picks into players crossing into the brown halls. And that's good. Get him activated is really the goal here.
Not too far off that shot. And we'll miss the second one. So they've tried to rotate him round onto B. Didn't yield a great deal. Tabson back at T-Spawn, going to try and save with Nex. But this will be Flipside getting themselves on the scoreboard on Train, and flawlessly so, not losing a single play in the process.
Yeah, roll that it's op really coming into the formula there, just being able to find a nice pick over at Ivy, and you also saw Electronic really being able to handle that forward position by Gabi. So again, it's just Flipside playing their normal style of being slow and finding opening picks in the process. And so when you can do that, just get a quick 5-on-3, that's so difficult. That's just like such an uphill battle for Big at that point. It will take like a massive individual effort for you to get back into a round like that one. So all goes according to plan. Flipside will make it 1-3.
I wonder if Flipside continue to apply the pressure and take 3, 4, 5 rounds in a row, do we see Gabi go back to the B site? Do we see Kiev go back onto A? I'm not too sure.
I mean, that could have been a spawn-based play to begin with. Like maybe Kiev just had a good spawn to try to go for a pick like that with the op. So that's definitely something else to keep an eye on. He won't have an op in this round, though. It was lost in inner, and they weren't able to reclaim it, and money starting to get a little bit lower. So Gabi will actually kind of sacrifice to take a FAMAS, so at least Kiev will have the M4. But same exact opening here from Flipside again. Probably going to see the bulk of the rounds in this half.
Gabi back onto the B site this time around. Again, that's when Kiev has the AWP, I'm going to be keeping an eye on how they're going to be setting up. Early damage does go in the way of Big, as Blade eats a chunk, down to 68. Plenty of utility, as you mentioned before, Gabi sacrificing firepower for extra nades. He has an incendiary alongside Nex. Pretty important nades to have on the Train CT side. Does cordon off a couple of areas for a few more seconds. That can be the difference between a win and a loss. And a 4-1 formation with 2 players close to connector for the CTs can instantly wrap themselves around onto the B side if Gabi calls. The push is imminent, but it's Flip side, it's T side. You're not expecting anything too fast.
No, I mean, occasionally they'll throw something in there to change the pace, but again, this is their comfort zone, is to just make sure we get control of inner halls, then spread the map and work from there. This time they'll decide to focus up on and execute here in the inner bomb site. You see them getting here in the last 40 seconds, some nades lined up. Gabi will get a little bit aggressive here. He does get 1 kill, but it's quickly traded out, and Wayland now just pressing all the way to the back of inner. Gonna find Nex as well, and so this is all but Flip sides. They've been able to storm the front of this inner bomb site, and they've had no problems taking down Big. So that will be a second round for Flipside, and you can see Big trying to save these M4s because funds are certainly low. This is where times get difficult for Big.
Yeah, it's only going to get harder from here. There's now Flipside with their rifles. And Big not quite able to step up and get a decent buy in the next round, especially if they lose one of these 2 weapons. It does surprise me a little bit that Flipside aren't at least sending 1 player to go off and try and find one of these, as They are starting to win a couple of rounds with bomb plants behind it, but obviously playing safe. That's fair enough. So Big will keep 2 M4s on Tabson and Legia going through into round number 6. With Flipside in hot pursuit.
Yeah, now Flipside starting to get into a good rhythm, and you're starting to see the economy suffer on the CT side. So this is where things could get dangerous for Big, despite the good start of getting that 3-0 beginnings to this. There's Waylander continuing in good form. We talked about how well he played, particularly on that CT side B on Cash in the first map. He is one of their main entry riflers, and you know, so far he's getting the job done. So we are going to see a buy here to Big, but it is certainly limited. It's just the 2 M4s they saved and a couple of upgraded pistols. Blade already out, T-Con here up next to Kiev. I think he did spot his foot, so I'm sure he's aware. He's going to even try to see if he can do some damage to those ankles, but not going to happen. We'll find the frag in the end, though.
Kiev whipping back and forth as well because he's panicking a little bit for maybe a bit of information. Molly at the back of the site. Tabson with one of the 2 assault rifles is going to put it to good use. God B goes down. The remaining 3 CTs in position to take down Blade. So all even once again and make that equality going in favor of Big for a couple seconds before Electronic puts it in their favor. Leggy's only on 8 health, not for too much longer. Flipside will take a 3rd. But that was shaping up to be
yeah, it was not too bad.
Of the party there.
Tabson with the M4 certainly did find a couple of kills there. But again, when you have low utility on CT side, it's just so much easier to get out of T-connector. And once you can get out of that, when you can get riflers out in open space like Electronic, he's able to deliver for you. And again, he's one of those young guys we're keeping an eye on. He's one of those guys kind of in their high teens that are just coming onto the scene. Obviously, Mir from Vegas Squad is one of the other guys from the CIS region. People having eyes on it. And this is kind of one of those tournaments where he's trying to show you what he's made of, you know, show that he has been a great addition to Flipside. I think this has been a great roster move for them. Really kind of just adds to their firepower. Now, kind of gives them a little bit more something to work with, because that's been one of their problems, is having consistent firepower. And I think Electronic really has kind of helped aid that issue, as again, we're just off to one of those slow starts once more. We are going to have the op in Key's hands again, so we'll see if maybe he can look to work some of that magic we've seen from him throughout this tournament. As Waylander comes off inner halls and into ladder rib, so outer is actually going to be the focus here this time around. He's actually given up his normal position to get down here a bit earlier, see if they can't set something up. They do have plenty of smokes to do the wall outside, and here comes the push.
No kits for Biggs. They're going to have to make these bullets count. Narrowly missing out on the opportunity, but Tabson will finish off what Keith started partially through the wall. Hence, taking more than one crack at it. Blade comes through with a kill. Electronic from the backside is going to make Keith pay. God B will make amends for his fallen comrade. But with 45 seconds left, Flipside still have World Edit on the map. And he is peering across with the AWP towards Ivy, hoping for just a pixel that he can convert into a kill. And he's found it. Legia the man. The target has been put down. Still Big, have the HP advantage, but God B and Nex not playing together whatsoever. Nex is going to get the drop on Blade as well, that it's moving with this bomb to the site. That was so awkward to watch. And Big will capitalize on that and take the 4-3 lead.
Yeah, big plays there, particularly from Tabson. He was the one that was kind of doing the big work there with the rifle, but then Nexus is the one to come through to finish things off. So very well played, just working his way up here and getting some kills. And that was one of the things we talked about. Nex can't go missing in these finals. He's one of the key rifles to this team. And so seeing him make a play like that, hopefully that can allow him to build some momentum. But look at this, Flipside, they're going to go ahead and hit the gas pedal, changing things up rapidly. Electronic sweeping through to take down Tabson.
Next with the one frag, going to be hiding behind the smoke. There is so much utility being pile-driven towards him. Gonna have to back away into connector. Now it's Legia's chance to step up and get some kills for his team. There's one. Can hit a pitter-patter of footsteps above him, but will let it connects the headshot, domes him, and then takes down Nex, who's up on the connector boost. It was looking so good for Big just a few moments prior, but now Flipside have the player advantage, albeit with all three players tagged down to about half and below health. God being Kiev. These are the kind of rounds that Kiev was wrapping up last night in the quadruple overtime against Vegas Squadron. He did just catch a glimmer of World Edit and puts him in his place. The remaining terrorists are at the wrong side of the A site as far as Kiev is concerned. He doesn't have eyes on either of them, and that's going to mean that God B has to go out and get the scouting information for his team and potentially a frag, and he will get picked off as a result. Information is gathered, and now it's down to Kiev and his very capable shoulders to take this clutch and give Big the round. He does spot Markelov dropped down. Can't land the shot just yet. Lands a headshot onto Markelov. That is disgusting. And now with the smoke, he could try and play the mind games with Electronic. The downside for him is he has no kit, so he's going to pretty much have to fake this. Electronic goes in and lands the kill. So close, but not quite close enough. 4-4.
Yeah, he certainly gave himself a chance there. Hit a nice no-scope to kick things off, but it's just Electronic and World Edit. Two of the big names on this Flipside team. They're putting it together here. It's nice to at least see Keys starting to hit some of these shots. I feel like we've been seeing him struggle to land some of these earlier on in the half, but now he's starting to get some of it going for him. But I mean, Electronic and World Edit have just been so on point. And look at it, Flipside. They smell blood in the water. They're going to go out fast T-Con once more. They know that there's not much utility or guns to work against them, so they'll just use that to their advantage to push out, and they take Kiev down already. And I'm sure they'll just keep rolling out now. Electronic from ladder. He's done a little bit of damage over here towards Ivy. And now he'll find the frag on God B, and this is looking like a 5th round for Flipside.
It's going to take a miracle if Big want to salvage this round, and maybe that's the start of something truly divine by Tabson. P250 headshot, retains the bulk of his health, lands the tap onto Blade. Blade's very low to, very close to death. Leggy as CZ ripped through Blade, but that's probably all Big get out of round 9. An AWP in front of him, too tantalizing to give up, but Leggy will die all the same. Flipside regain the lead, just a pendulum of Counter-Strike going back and forth between the teams. And considering how good Flipside are on their CT side and how vulnerable the economy is from the CT's perspective now from Big, this is definitely going to favor Flipside if it continues.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you're in one of those rocky situations where you won pistol, so you got the 3-0 start, but then you lose the opening gun round, then you finally win another round, and then you get your economy immediately reset. Like, that's just a nightmare scenario that Big now is their reality. So it's going to be rather difficult for them to do much in this round, obviously. Just some upgraded pistols. Obviously, that's going to lower their chances of finding something here, as Flipside will just slow things back down again, kind of getting back to their roots, which is just kind of doing the double Ivy. Roylaner working inner halls. They did, to their credit, pick up the pace a couple of rounds, though. They're trying to kind of keep things a little bit hard to read, but now that they're starting to feel comfortable, they're just going to kind of go back to the game plan. And Big, again, just not so much they can look for in this round.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that by Flipside, you know, with the major just around the corner. They are certainly capable of playing aggressively. Even if that round hadn't have worked out for them, it puts Big in a position where they're not sure if another rush is imminent. They have to play and definitely respect that as being a possibility. Whereas this round, with 50 seconds left, the engage is going to be coming through. Key point blank range, executing Blade. Didn't know what hit him as the drive-by comes in. Markelov will pick him up. P250 against the AK. It's not really a fair fight overall. And well, the House of Cards should come crumbling down with Flipside picking up their 6th. Just next stands between them and that scoreline.
So there you have it, Flipside, 6 rounds. They have won 6 of the last 7. So ever since they were able to start buying guns, they have been absolutely dominant. And that's one of the guys that's helped this along. That is good old Electronic. He's already up to 15 kills and 10 rounds played.
And he had a solid performance on Cash as well.
Absolutely.
So he's kept that going. Very impressive play.
He's really been the one that's made this team more interesting to me. Like, sure, Flipside had cool results. They obviously beat Nip and Cologne. They obviously beat Heroic, or excuse me, what was North at DreamHack winner. So they've had some cool results, but it's been so mixed afterwards. They never really followed up. But now you have this new guy, Electronic, who just adds a little bit of spice to the team for me. And this time around, though, it's going to be Markelov who opened things up. He's actually going to get the pick down onto Leggy at Ivy. Key does have the op back in his possession, but again, he's been rather limited. The only thing we've really seen from him was that clutch attempt where he got a couple of cool op frags, sure, but they didn't really have any impact. So can he find some impact kills with this op is going to be the big question that needs to be answered, particularly if Big want to start getting back into this. But Flipside lining things up for some type of outer execute or perhaps a fake. Smoke's coming in to wall off the bomb train. Counter nades coming in from Big, and Tabson will press up into ladder room. So they're going to try to disrupt this as best they can, but it's all for naught. It's going to be an inner execute, but God B, he's got a nice spot.
And he's not going to be able to execute, although actually partially does. He weakened Waylander where the team kill could come in, but Markelov continues to apply the pressure. 2-on-3, makes that all on Kiev. Maybe this is his moment. Narrowly missing out on the shot. And now that his position is known, you better believe a crossfire is being established right now. There's also 2 Molotovs and no smoke for Keeve, so this round's done. Even if he doesn't get killed there, it's just over. There's no way he's defusing that. What I will say, trying to be optimistic about how this game could go, is if you cast your mind back to Vegas Squadron regulation, both teams actually picked up only 5 rounds on their CT side. Their T rounds were way better, way more efficient. So maybe Big, their best is yet to come.
Yeah, just the only concerning thing is we're just not seeing the impact frags from Keeve's op anymore, and that's been something that they were really using to their advantage on Train yesterday to win that quadruple overtime game. And you're also seeing Gabi really struggle in this game. He's 2-10 right now, so he's definitely having a tough time. He's trying to force the issue here and enter with Keeve, but it's going to be mopped up by Flipside, no problem, as they will conquer this inner bomb site to put the bomb down, and so it will be 8-4. That's all Big can really hope for now is maybe some exit frags and try to get a gun or 2, but Flipside will ensure that they will win the half.
Now, whatever happens from this point forward, Flipside will be taking us through to the second half with already a 1-0 map lead and a lead on Train. It doesn't bode well for Big. Tapson again, you just always feel in these kind of scenarios with a pistol in his hand, he's going to get at least a kill. He's just so nuts with them. Next with his Deagle. Can he channel his inner Tabson? Not looking likely. So Big. Oh dear. Does finally get the shot. Just Eagle things. Sometimes it's the most frustrating weapon in the world to play with. Either way, Flipside are going to pick up an 8th round.
And I mean, at this point, Big are starting to run out of opportunities to get back into this game. I mean, they're only going to have a couple of more rounds where they actually have a nice buy to try to find some rounds here. You don't want to let this one get out of your grasp. Meanwhile, Flipside, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. They're playing an excellent game. We're all at it, electronic. They're putting up their numbers. Everyone's doing their job quite well. No one's really lacking on this Flipside side, to be quite honest. Everyone seems to be pitching in just fine. And now, once again, they're trying to pick up the pace a bit and get a little bit of a forward presence on this outer bomb site. But Legia, he's going to be able to get that pick on the wall. That's a key player down from Flipside. Electronic, though, he's still up and running, and he's going to find the pick on the Gabi. And here comes that outer execute.
Leggy is not going to get any more frags, but Tabson with 2 and next with 1. Waylander in a 1-on-3 clutch has already taken down 2 players and cleanly. He's still got 100% of his health left, but Keeve will pick him on the retreat. And it's important to mention as well that round, they lose 4 players, but it was also a double AWP setup, so that's going to hurt their economy that little bit more. Yeah, so Big, they're still in a very shaky situation right now.
Yeah, having another economy reset here would be massive. That would be 3 times they've had that happen to them this half, and then they would just absolutely have nothing left going into the last round of the half. So this could very well be 10-5, almost guaranteed if Flipside lock this one up. So Big needs to kind of find a rhythm here, get into a good groove, because they need these next 2 rounds, you feel like, to give themselves a better chance. As Gabi is going to try to test the waters in there with this Mag 7. Gets 1 shot in, but Waylander still is going to be the one to find the frag in the end. Now it's up to Keeve with the op. Lands a nice shot onto Electronic. Waylander, though, still in the area, but he's going to take this cautiously. Nice flash, peeks with it, chases Keeve off. No frags exchanged, but inner hall's control has been taken by Flipside now. It's a 4-on-4, which is going to favor Flipside just the slightest.
It's got to be triggered at this stage. That looked like it was dead on him with the Mag 7. Waylander will get taken out, AWP'd out of his boots. Tabson's there with the M4A4. So it seems that Big maybe going to finish strong on this half. 8-7, if they can take it down. Of course, that's assuming they wrap up Markaloff and then win the next one. That honestly wouldn't be a terrible halftime performance, considering their team side was way better last night. And Tabson will round it off. 8-6.
So they avoid the reset, and they set themselves up to get this 7th round to at least make this half as close as possible, despite the struggles that they had throughout the majority of it. And now you're starting to see Keeve land some of those really tight shots that can be so difficult. So that's certainly good news to see him doing that type of thing. We come into the final round of the half. We're seeing Flipside tactics once again, just trying to see if they can't get control of the inner halls, which they will be able to do. Gabi just forced the withdrawal. Tabson trying to play aggressive here in ladder room. See if he can't get a pick or get some information, but to no avail. Next going to move up with him as well, so they're going to try to have a forward setup on this T connector in ladder room.
Flipside slowing things back down. We've seen some more aggressive rounds. Tabson's taking this opportunity to get into main. Looking a bit sluggish for a couple of seconds, but does recover nicely. Blade goes down.
Oh,
no,
man.
don't do this, Tabson.
He didn't have a gun at all there for a second. Oh my goodness.
You could see what he was going for. You desperately wanted the AK-47, but it was a little out of arm's reach. I hope he doesn't tunnel vision onto that, because it really could cost him his life. Meanwhile, God B, again, playing aggro, using the smoke. If he comes through there, World Edit's AWP is going to be up close in his face. Tabson again seems to have really started to wake up towards the latter end of this, and I think God B, he didn't get tagged there, but that looked dead on him.
Yeah, definitely was close, and we are going to see Big taking the 7th round, so well done. They're able to get those last 3 rounds of the half, and I mean, that's a world of difference. If you go into this next half 11-4 and you lose pistol, it's probably game over, and it's a flip side victory, and the trophy would be theirs, but now at least Big has given themselves an option, a way in, a way back into this match.
Exactly, and again, the T side yesterday was much more enjoyable to watch. You know, it was so much more powerful than their CT side against Vegas Squadron. Of course, they're against a very different team in Flipside. You expect to see a fairly solid CT half, and it was Tabson who very nearly lost his life trying to get that AK-47 that came through huge with a 3K, all in team main side.
And again, you look at Tabson as being the rock of this team. To me, he's their most consistent player. Keeve might be one of the more flashy guys. Next might be one of the skilled riflers on the team, but Tabson's like the one that I feel game in and game out is almost always going to perform for you. And so far, he's doing good. He's at 16 kills, leading the pack for his team for sure. But again, flip side, I mean, just the frag distribution across that entire team was so tight. I mean, really, you look at World Edit, who's second on his team with 10 kills, last on the team is Blade with 7. So, I mean, that's a good spread. And then, of course, you did have the monstrous performance of Electronic with his 18 frags. So he is definitely living up to the hype in this grand final thus far. But now we're live into the pistol of the second half, and this is where Big are going to try to see if they can't tie things up. Waylander will be getting aggressive with the P2K in Inner Hall, so maybe he can find a couple of headshots here and ruin Big's day.
If you can just get a 1-for-1 trade or just survive, that's also equally beneficial to his team because of that vital information came through. And Big are going to try and silence him before the rest of the team get close enough to be an issue. Blade is going to land the one-tap. Waylander runs out of ammunition, has to go back in for seconds, but it's going to be Tabson with the Glock who takes him out. Bomb planted in amongst the frenzy of kills. And now World Edit will be trying to come in with both Electronic and Blade. Electronic is only on 4 health, though, so any bullets that connect on him will silence his life. Keeve onto World Edit. This is getting a more difficult prospect by the second for Flipside, but Blade is going to land the USP headshot before Keeve comes in with an extra 2. And that second pistol was huge. It's gone the way of the Germans. And that's going to kickstart their T-half nicely.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit of life. I mean, well played to go ahead and get that pistol. Hopefully that can lead to a 10-8. That is the goal here. Don't want to let those force buys get to them like they did on Cash. That would be detrimental to a comeback victory for them. We're not going to see too much purchase, though, by Flipside. They want to make sure, this is one of those maps where you really want to make sure you have full utility on the opening gun round and really make sure that that op's going to be in play right away on World Edit's hands. So that's why you don't see, like, crazy head armor on everybody. It's just a couple of guys taking light armor and then mostly P250s, not a lot of 5.7s.
Now it's Big's turn to make Flipside sweats. Not giving them any information whatsoever to play with. Waylander, the only player to lose any health so far. But you better believe there's going to be more bloodshed before round 17 comes to its climax. 3-player stack on B, 2 on A. No one particularly playing aggro, other than Electronic, who's on the E-box, funnily enough. Everyone else passive, though. Effectively saying, come at us, bros. And I think Big are about to do just that. Looks like it could be a B execute.
Yeah, it's all calm before the storm, but any moment now you should be seeing Big piling up and ramming into this inner bomb site. As here come the utility. Waylander with the deagle, though. Perhaps he can disturb all of this, but so far not landing the mark. Meanwhile, Lega has found an entry onto World Edit, but Narkolov slipping through the smoke. He's going to be caught, though. And this is being taken care of very well by Big. So they should take the lead for the first time this game, I believe. Well, since well, they had the pistol round lead, but they haven't had a lead in a very long time.
It certainly would be a change of fortune. And if they can take it without losing a single player, all the better for it. But Blade, not going to happen. Not on his watch. Keeve goes down. Just the SMG lost. No huge issue. As you can see, Tabson 17. And even though they did lose 16-11, you know, they mentioned this in the desk as well, Tabson had a solid first map performance.
Yep.
Keeve was a bit quiet. He's definitely performing much better here on Train. But Tabson's been the unsung hero for Big.
Yeah, the numbers are good for Keith, but the impact hasn't been there nearly as much. I mean, you have to remember that some of those op frags he had were rounds where he was in like 1vx situations, got a couple exit kills, and then, you know, the round went to his opponent. And again, we talked about this yesterday. How deep is Big's playbook really on this map? Because against Vega yesterday, you didn't really see a whole heck of a lot. Sure, they knew what kind of default they wanted to play, but they didn't seem to be on the same page a lot of the time. Like their executes seem a bit disjointed. It really relied on a guy like Keeve to create space at this very position at T-Connector with ops and such. And then Tabson, you know, making his plays at Ivy. Can they get that same type of performance? And this map is going to be the key point of contention because they're desperately going to need those guys to come out strong to see if they can't force that third map. As again, it's just pistols for Flipside, so Big should be finding that 10th round. Tabson is going to come out Ivy to try to lead the way.
Blade does connect the dome onto Tabson. Next has to be very careful. He is playing with fire. Just 2 health left. Gonna try and force Blade out into the open. Legia with 2 kills with the UMP. Next gonna try and trade off at range, but Blade's got 3 kills in this round with a P250. Big, you cannot afford to lose this round. What is happening? Legia is gonna be coming in with the Glock. Lands the one. Tap onto Markelov, pardon me. And now it's all on Blade. With 72 health. He's been spotted by Legia. There's the UMP spray. And Legia has just dug a collective bunch of players out of a very deep ditch.
Yeah, that was looking very scary for a second there for Big. Again, you're starting to have a little bit of PTSD from some of those forced buy losses that were devastating for them on cash. A lot of the reason why they weren't able to get back into that one was because of that very thing. But Legia holds it off, and so now we're at 10-8. Opening gun round, op in Keeve's hands. What will they do? Looks like they're looking for him to maybe catch some inner aggression, but no one is going to oblige him. It is going to be Waylander just tucked in here by Pop Dog, just staring up the ramp. And Big, they definitely want to put their focus on inner. There's no doubt about it. They have plenty of smokes and Molotovs to cover the site, and everyone's here, so it seems like they have perhaps put together a couple of different tactics we didn't see yesterday.
Yeah, clearly they have discussed among themselves having a bit of a deeper playbook to work with. And it's important to remember, yeah, sure, the core lineup of Big have been together a while, know each other very well, but they have only been a team for like a week and a half, 2 weeks at this stage where they're practicing. So pretty impressive to get to the grand finals. Whatever happens here, Waylander is only going to get the 1 kill before falling. Markelov trying to spam through the smoke. He's going to land the headshot onto Next, but the bomb will get planted all the same. And Legia decides the best defense, the strong offense, but that's right into the arms of World Edit, who gets traded out with Keeve. There goes GodB with a headshot with the AK-47 at 2-on-2, but Flipside certainly worse for wear in terms of HP. And GodB goes down to Electronic. Keeve has a molly, and there's no smoke for Flipside. He's going to throw that out, lands on the site, forces the CTs away for a few more seconds, and they're going to be scrambling to try and get rid of him. To peel back the aggression and take this site. They have kits, but Keeve's going to be peeking right now. Misses his shot. That could cost him dearly. Oh, and it will. Blade lands the headshot in the end. Oh, you would have bet your house on Keeve clutching that round, but he's lost somehow.
Especially since he killed so much clock with that Molotov and the fact there was no smoke to extinguish it. Maybe if he holds on to it a bit longer, it makes it to where there's no chance for them to defuse, but it's so hard to read that in the heat of the moment. And then, of course, he misses a couple of key shots. Like, those are the ones he has to land. Those are the impact frags that he needs to find. And so that's going to be a 9th round for Flipside. Luckily with that bomb plant, Big do still have enough money to buy. They're going to put Keeve here at T-Con. See if he can't find some picks of smoke, though. Will deny him vision. Onto the player crossing over here towards the sandwich, which is going to be Blade. He's trying to throw some spam through the wall. He did do some damage last night against someone through that.
Yeah.
But didn't find any frags. This time around, he's not going to find anything at all. And so they've already been pulled off of Ivy all the way. Tabson is down, and no one's reclaimed that position. So the focus here is actually maybe into inner. Gabi was thinking about taking his chances, but does begin to fade away. They do send Key with the op actually over towards Ivy, so they're gonna try to see if he can't find a pick by himself. We're all that it is here with his own AWP, but he's focused on T-Connector for now.
Terrace being thinned out more and more as time goes on. Key's all by his lonesome over on the Ivy side of the map. Incendiary has been placed in front of him. Can wait a little while longer. That smoke is going to keep him at bay a little while longer. So instead, he decides, okay, I'm going to come back with the rest of my team and try and get a pick. Next, already in team main, laid in wait with Legia. Electronics up on the boost. We saw Next play here a couple of times. They're definitely going to check it, but with 30 seconds, I think they have to check as many corners as they'd like to. That could cost them dearly. Gobi, though, is going to land the entry frag. And Electronic will put the boost to good use. Gobi through onto the site. 20 seconds left, turns his back. Will cost him as a knife is planted in there. Not literally, but Markelov may as well have done just that. 13 seconds. Oh dear, Keeve, he is a dead man. 10 to 10. And that looked like a really compromising position against the wall.
Not going to touch that one at all. I'm just going to leave that one alone.
And neither did Electronic, who was looking at him in Pop Dog. Good guy, Electronic.
So Flipside really starting to climb right back in this one. They've already topped the game 10-all, and money very low for Big. So it's starting to look a little bit dicey for this team as, again, they did lose that first map on Cash, and it was their pick as well. So they've certainly taken things the more difficult route. And thus far, there has been many obstacles in the way. And this looks like it'll be another one of those. But Tabson, he lands the 1D on the World Edit, giving World Edit a taste of his own medicine. And Legia has found the frag. What's going on here? Are they really going to pull one off?
There's not much you can do about that. Go for a peek. Deagle's waiting. Juan Deag. That being said, though, that's only part of what Big need to take down this round. There's still very much a possibility that one of these assault rifles can neutralize 3 or 4 members if they all push together. They may very well go for a 3-pronged A hit and try and encircle the remaining CTs, which will be Electronic and Blade on A site. Blade's using the AWP, looking into team main. Remember, there are no nades for Big, so they're going to have to come out raw here. And that should, in theory, allow Flipside to at least get a couple frags on the approach and equalize this up.
You'd hope so. Blade hopefully can actually pick one off, crossing out T-Con. No, they're too fast. He's not even going to go for the shot. He's just waiting things out. Electronic, the key player for Flipside, waiting for this. Is going to be able to find one kill there on the Legia. Turns his attention now to Ivy, but Tabson clears out another 1D for him. He had one earlier. He's keeping it up, but Blady's still alive. He's holding his ground, but it's now on the shoulders of Markelov. 1v3, gets the kill onto Next. The bomb has been planted. Can he break through? He doesn't have a kit.
And 4 in the hands of God B. Doing a bit of damage on the approach. Markelov down to 44. The Deagles are whizzing past his ears. Down to 13 now. Every time a Big player peaks, some health gets chipped away. And Markelov is piecing out. He wants no further part of this round. Tabson with that opening Deagle pick is huge. Legia also got one early doors. Well, what a time for Big to land some big shots there.
They're finally giving Flipside a taste of their own medicine. They're finally stealing a force buy away. That's going to allow them to get the 11-10 lead. It's going to keep the money low on Flipside. Markelov will save this one AK, but outside of that, money is pretty low here.
I wonder what the play is here for Flipside now. There it is. Tabson threading the needle. And a second one. Unreal with the pistols. Well, they're going to decide not to force behind Markelov's AK. So they are going to be coming into this with effectively an eco. Big on the prowl. That nade does quite a bit of damage, actually. Thrown from team main onto both Markelov and Blade.
Yeah, certainly has weakened the defense quite a bit. And the defense that was already not so sturdy, given that they just had these P250s to work with the exception of Markelov. He does have that AK and armor, and he does have the one kit that is on Flipside. Gabi open things up. That's going to be Blade down, as once again, just gathering up inside these inner halls. Plenty of utility. try to cut off some angles here in the inner sight, give them less spots they must check. Waylander, the only player from Flipside waiting in the inner bomb site right now, but you do see them beginning to rotate everyone over.
Waylander's position is tenuous at best. I mean, realistically, what could he have done from that? He's ultimately the sacrificial lamb, hoping the P250 from Electronic can do some damage, and he has. He lands the headshot. Flipside now have the player advantage, and Kiev is so low. At the back of the train, Markelov takes down the next player, and it's up to Legia to try and get them another round win, and World Edit's going to connect with the pistol. One assault rifle with pistols, and Flipside have taken it down.
Such a tough pill to swallow if you're big. You just had a big round like that with tabseN's deagle work, and now all of a sudden you fall in prey to one AK of Markelov and a couple of pistols from Flipside. That is so rough, and you can see the money reset from Big is going to be painful. They're just going to have upgraded pistols. Are we going to have one of those scrappy types of series? You wonder, is it going to keep going back and forth like this? Who's going to finally take grasp of this and maintain control? That's what we're looking to answer here. Gabi looking to try to see if he can't get to enter. Does a lot of damage to Waylander, but Waylander holds on for the frag, and so is World Edit. So the numbers are dwindling for Big. It's looking good for Flipside to take the lead right back, as Electronic is almost ensuring it at this point. Only tabseN and Next left, and they're just being wiped off by Markelov. So there you have it. Flipside up 12-11. Just a few rounds away from walking out the booth as winners.
$50,000, and of course that trophy will be theirs if they can convert this lead on Train, as they have already swept aside Big on Cash 16-11. It was looking like it could have been a lot more one-sided, but Big did mount somewhat of a comeback towards the end, made it much more respectable as a scoreline. They will rummage together a buy, and it will include 2 UMPs and a Galil, but also an AWP. World Edit just took 37 health, needlessly. A bit too aggro maybe on the peak. But Keeves took damage too. Legi's going to be coming down, trying to use those SMGs and just ram it into Flipside as fast as possible. Next is going to land the headshot onto Electronic, but there's a lot of smoke to play with still. And Flipside are holding firm on the site. Blade of all players is going to land the headshot onto Kiev. That's going to make this so difficult for Big to push now. Legi's UMP is going to yield one more frag. Gob B with the AWP, and a 1-on-3 is already taken out one. 2 more to find. He has the bomb, and he has time. Those are the only 2 luxuries he's been afforded in this clutch scenario. And there's no reason for Flipside to budge a muscle here. They can just stick together, even if God B and Big get this bomb planted, they can retake together, and will be favorites to take it down. God B, though, is going to be peering around the corner, could get the drop onto World Edit. Just checking all of his corners, making sure there's not a CT that's going to be sneaking up behind him. Does spot connector. That's probably the end of the round, and indeed it will be. World Edit finalizes 13-11 now. And that's after Big just 4 sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking really good for Flipside Tactics right now. After having taken Cash away from Big, they're just a few rounds away from securing Train and the 2-0 victory. Big not going to have anything to respond really to this round, save for a scout in the hands of Legia. So the route to a 14th round looks quite easy on Flipside. It's really Big saving up for the next round to try to play for the 16-14. That's their big hope right now.
This really does give them no room for error, though, Dust. That 14-11, as we assume it will come, the 14-11 round is pretty much do or die for Big. Kiev, the first to get eviscerated by Electronic. The drive-by God B kill will put them in a place. Blades, what is that? It may not end up mattering, in fairness. It's a 3-on-3 and still the firepower certainly in favor of Flipside, but it was a little bit rough to watch.
And now it's all really in Legia's hands if he can be the miracle worker with this scout. But let's not forget tabseN's alive, and he certainly had a big deagle round not so long ago. Can he do it once more? He spots a player here being patient. They have no idea where he is. He's the snake in the grass. He's the one that can just jump out and strike. And there's the first one. Markelov down. Can he keep it going? He needs to find 2 more, and it's not going to happen. World Edit is going to cut him off with the P250. That's 14 rounds for Flipside. Just a couple away from taking home that 50 grand. And wouldn't that be so good for them, right? They're about to head over to the major. They've had some cool results here and there, but nothing ever consistent. But this could be a title for them.
Yeah, Markelov spoke about this in his interview before the final started. It'd be their first victory at a LAN at the finals outside of the CIS region.
Yep.
That's a pretty big statement, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
before a major.
This is a team that we've seen have cool best-of-3 results at times, certainly. Like I said, beating Nip at Cologne was obviously massive. Beating out Dignitas at DreamHack winner was certainly massive, but it never really seems to be followed up by anything else is really the big thing. Like, yeah, they always hover around kind of the top 20 of the world. They're always ensuring they at least make majors. You know, Markelov being one of those few players that's been to every single one is definitely a cool accomplishment for him. And they're one of those teams that are very good strategically with Blade, which means they can punish teams that make mistakes. They can definitely, you know, play solid, smart Counter-Strike. Their defaults are very fine-tuned, very structured. Their biggest problem has been having consistent enough firepower to go and rival the best teams of the world, to deal with some of the elite talents that top the scene. But now you're seeing World Edit really start to get a little bit more consistent. You're seeing this electronic guy who's been a big factor. If Flipside go on to win this next couple of rounds, Electronic is by far the clear MVP of this tournament. I don't even think it's a question. He was their big-time stats leader in the semifinals coming up to this, and he's been leading the charge in this best-of-3 grand finals as well. So, you know, just cool to see that from a new player on the scene.
Yeah, coming into this finals, I thought Keith had a really solid shout, but he did have a fairly weak first map. And Electronic has just been a linchpin for Flipside. He has been performing throughout. But here we go. Big have tried to rally the troops. This could be their last push. Let's see if it's going to prove to be fruitful. Maybe they can take us into a third map after all. That's a terrible way to start things off. Next, one of their main men has been put in his place as Blade delivers the headshot first class. Waldenet spins around on a swivel, deals with Tabson. Keith will answer back, but still Big have a lot of work before they can get onto this side, especially as Legia, who was on the other side around E-Box, has been found wanting. Keith with the spray. Blade will get the upper hand, and it would appear that Flipside are going to have 4 match points, 4 championship points, unless GodB can pull off one hell of a clutch. Tag to 25, finished off, and Flipside are on the brink of victory.
Yeah, I mean, that was really kind of putting all their eggs in one basket. That was the round that Big had to win. Now you go into this round, they've hit max loss bonus, sure, but that still means that their buy is going to be much more limited than it was in the previous round. That was their way back in. It's now been eliminated. This is now just the last-ditch effort. This is all the hope is in this one. Flipside, they can smell that trophy right now. They're so close to it. They played such a great tournament, and now they're just one round away from locking it up here. What can Big do to challenge? I know the hometown crowd here wants to see this one drag on. Can someone step up for Big? Can someone make a play? Can Nex, who we talked about that couldn't go missing, who has been this map, can he finally wake up? Does Keith make a big play? Do you see some more heroics from Tabson? What's out there for Big?
Well, so far, nothing but damage that's been inflicted on them. GodB goes in first. Waylander, partially flashed up, will deal with him and lives to tell the tale. World Edit had the right idea before peering into T-Main. Not going to see anything just yet. It allows the terrorists to funnel their way out a little bit, but still connects onto Keith, and Blade will be spraying down onto Tabson, gets a second kill. Legia's gone down, and Flipside have done it. They will take it in style, 2-0, 16-11 on both maps. Well-deserved champions.
Absolutely, they played so well. Look, I know the hometown crowd's going to be a bit disappointed because they were rooting for Big, but look, Big did a good job. They beat Heroic, their first offline event together. They made it all the way to the final, but this Flipside team has pieced something together. They finally won an offline final outside the CIS region. You're seeing some new talent rise up. Electronic, for me, the MVP, played a great tournament. Blade leads the team well as always. Waylander, all these guys, World Edit, every single person on the team, Markelov, the veteran, everything was there for Flipside. Well done for them.
And just as the major is beckoning, Flipside, I mean, it looked pretty simple for them in the end. I will say though, Big, again, these guys haven't been together for very long. They haven't had a great deal of time to put straps on the table. It showed at times. But to get through to the finals, beating the likes of Frog, beating the likes of Vegas Squadron, who are another team that I think showed themselves and showed their worth at this event, that's not too shabby at all.
Yeah,
they could be proud.
Flip side, they've had those cool results here and there, some cool best of threes at the last DreamHack winner and such, but now they finally get to hoist a trophy. I'm sure they couldn't be more ecstatic about it. It's a great thing to ride off of as they go into the major. Well played.
I'll definitely be loving this feeling right now. And it's going to give them confidence going through into the major as well. You know, I feel if Flipside didn't win this event, there could be some doubts in the back of their mind, potentially worrying about, okay, well, this is probably our event to win alongside Heroic. They've taken it, and to be fair, they took it fairly easily in the end. It didn't look like it was too much of an effort. They swept aside most of the teams they played against. But guys, that's enough from us here on the casting desk. We're going to head down to Paolo, who has an interview with the victors.
Everyone, I have our champ. Wow, okay, that was way too close, Markelov. I have our champions here on stage, Flipside Tactics. Markelov, how's this one feel for you?
Oh, it's really amazing. Oh, it's really good.
Good. It's glad to hear you are well deserving of this trophy. You guys had an amazing run this tournament. I really think you proved that you were the rightful winners. You beat Big once again. You beat them at the start of the tournament, and you really cemented that you guys were the strongest team here.
Thank you. It's really great to feel this like this.
Blade, are you happy overall with the run?
Yes, we had some like rough moments, but still we are fine.
Talking about people that stood out during this tournament, we did mention Waylander. Wild Edit is, of course, consistent. Markelov is a legend like you. But this guy, Electronic, has had a fantastic tournament. Are you comfortable speaking on the microphone? Because I'd just like to ask you one question, or I can ask you, Blade, and then you translate it. That's fine. Okay, so it seems that he's found like a very comfortable home with you guys, and he's starting to really show just the sort of skill ceiling and potential that he can reach.
Типа ты нашел очень удобную для себя команду, и у тебя огромный потенциал. Ты чувствуешь этот потенциал или нет? Yes, I think he has a lot of potential in this team, and he will show even more stuff on other tournaments.
And this is the first tournament ever for him.
Wow, okay, well that's
First place, first time.
a huge achievement, because this tournament is, you know, a 100K tournament. These guys just secured $50,000, so I think that also does receive a round of applause, and Electronic there can enjoy the trophy. And talking about other tournaments, what is next coming up? We all know, but I'd love to get some words from both of you on it.
Of course, it's major in Atlanta. I'm really hyped to play in America once again. And it's major. What can you say more? It's hype.
It's definitely hype. And Blade, what about you?
It's gonna be really difficult to win at least one game. I think a lot of opponents, all opponents are extremely good and strong. Like, it's the best teams around the world.
Well, you are currently major legends, and now you are DreamHack legends as well. And so you are our winners here at DreamHack Leipzig 2017. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you also, of course, to all the other teams and Big for putting up such a good fight. That will be it from us on the stage. It's been a pleasure to bring this all to you. But now we will head back to the desk and get the final thoughts of our analysts.
Thank you very much, Paolo. Yes, congratulations to Flipside, and well done to Big as well, on home soil, finishing in second place in their first tournament as well. An incredible achievement for all of the players, really, in that they finally won a LAN outside of the CIS, which they really wanted to do. You could tell how hungry they were. And they were kind of... There wasn't anything spectacular about it, but it was very methodical. It was very Blade-like, I guess, in the way that they've come about it. But no one could find any faults in this team.
There's fundamentally good Counter-Strike. There is one thing that I think they can work on before the major, and they'll definitely look at this and say, yeah, we can fix that, is not playing their anti-ecos so nested in the sites, maybe playing more retakes, because they got run over a lot of times by Big in this series and throughout the tournament by other teams. But otherwise, it was like a double-edged sword, right? If they did well, it's a confidence boost going into the major, and they're going to feel fantastic. If they had done poorly, where does that leave them? It's only in a week's time, so it's really good they've got the victory and they look really happy with it.
No, I mean, not much to add there. Obviously, great for Electronic. His first tournament. I think he was certainly the MVP of this event. He was the best player on their team, statistically by far the best player in the final and of the whole tournament overall, I believe. So great debut for him. Lots of good things to come in the future, I'm sure.
First LAN tournament victory.
And probably MVP.
Yeah.
No, it's not probably.
Not bad.
He's the MVP.
I got to wait for Peter's tweet before you can claim it, right? He's the man.
He's got to do it officially.
No.
Got to do it officially now. Can't just usurp HLTV and name MVPs without let them do it.
I do.
All right,
I name my own MVPs.
All right, fine. So he is definitely your MVP. Sponge?
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't know why I said probably.
Right.
That's an Australian thing, I think. But
It's all right. It's been a long few days.
yeah,
It's
we got
fine.
there. We got there in the end, right?
Yeah.
But I think, the performance he had, it wasn't as flashy as what I was expecting from him, but he was just getting consistent kills and the kills he needed to. It wasn't like Big, who were getting a lot of clutches, right? And like Tabs having to win all those rounds to keep them in those maps. But he was just doing his job and he was the best at it in the whole server.
Yeah, I don't know if... do we have the statistics ready? I wonder if we have those ready that we can put up on your screen right now. We do, and there we go. The grand final statistics with the outstanding MVP performance from Electronic, 53 for 31, a 1.97 KDA in the grand final, head and shoulders above anyone else in the game.
It was a great performance throughout the tournament. Like Chad said, actually, I think it's actually a compliment to say that he was consistently very good as opposed to being just super flashy at times, because that's the kind of thing that you can carry over to future tournaments more easily.
Yeah, and he's definitely... He fits into the team as well. I mean, you made a mention, I think, in the semi-final that what they really needed was a player who was kind of like a simple fragger, but a calmer person and someone who was more communicative with the team, and they seem to have that.
No, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Any final thoughts on Big? Good first tournament from them.
Yeah, a bright future, I think. They have this to build on. They're going to be disappointed that they didn't win in front of their home crowd. But when you think about it, this is their first tournament. They've only had a week with this core, or with this 5, sorry.
Yep.
And they can definitely build on this going forward. And this is exciting for them because now they're going to be given opportunities based off this performance here.
Yep.
It's a great debut.
Yeah, 3 core obviously just performing well, and flashes of brilliance from all 3 of them when they needed it. But the 2 that stood out were the new boys, effectively next, finally stepping up to the kind of form we've seen from him before, but only in flashes. And Kiev, what a star find.
No, exactly. So Next is basically back, it seems, to the level that he was showcasing 18 months ago on Mousesports when he was playing with Gob at the time, I think. And obviously, Kiev just playing out of his mind here. I mean, he had a good tournament at ESWC with the Tax, but that wasn't the same. I think this was sort of a bigger tournament and also with better opponents. And you can also tell that he's playing in a smarter system sort of now. So I think it's more believable, sort of. Yeah. I guess you could say that it's going to continue this way.
Okay, final thoughts on the tournament as a whole? What did you make of it over the 3 days?
It was a lot of fun. It's good to see new players or fresh faces and new strategies coming out. And I think we saw some very random Counter-Strike, but we also saw like some very fundamentally sound Counter-Strike. So it was a good weekend.
I thought it was really fun actually to see some of the teams that we don't always get to see as much when we get when we get the same teams more or less with a couple variations here and there at multiple tournaments. There's a lot of fun seeing some of the next tier teams sort of that you know to keep an eye out for during the rest of the year.
Okay, thank you very much to all 3 of you. We are coming to a close, but just a reminder for you, there are more DreamHack Opens ahead, of course. Austin is the next DreamHack Open on the 28th to the 30th of April, and before that, there is the rather small matter of Las Vegas Masters. Of course, I am joking. In February, you can still get your tickets right now as well from just $30, so make sure you're signed up and ready to go. You go.
Can I just add, it's around Valentine's Day, so take your girlfriends.
Yeah.
Pretty romantic,
Yeah,
right?
good point. I think it's the perfect romantic holiday, right? Yeah. Romantic holiday, Counter-Strike, DreamHack Masters. What could you want more in Las Vegas? Tommy is speechless for the first time in 3 days. Thank you very much to our sponsors as well. A big shout out to Astro, to Monster Energy, and to Zowie for their support over the last 3 days, and of course throughout the season. Thank you for your support of eSports as well over the years. And that is it. We are done here for the first DreamHack Open of the year. It has been a fantastic 3 days of Counter-Strike, and we are going to be seeing plenty more throughout 2017, not least of which on the DreamHack Astro Open Tour. Leipzig, though, has ended, and it's ended with a new champion from the CIS. They head into the major with a lot of heads held high. The champions this time round in Leipzig are Flipside. We'll see you soon. Bye.